Going deep backstage, my name is Billy Harfosh. We're here at the House of Comedy in Phoenix, and I've got a special guest, Sarah Tiana. Sarah, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's sometimes comedians are a little bit like, why am I doing an interview right before my show? But I really appreciate you taking a couple minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So you're here tonight, obviously, to do stand-up. But if we could just shift gears for a second to roasting. You've written for the king of roasting, Jeff Ross. You've roasted people yourself. What's the difference in writing material from stand-up to roasting people?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I think roasting people, it's like a little bit more poignant. You know, obviously stand-up is all about myself and my experiences, but with roasting, you're trying to get into the voice and the head of the person who is doing the roast. So, and you know, I think when you write roast jokes, you're trying to impress whoever you're roasting. Oh, thank you. Look at that.
Look at that service.
A drink just
The
appeared.
great Shannon here.
Yeah. You know, when I write roast jokes about someone, I'm not trying to hurt their feelings. I'm trying to impress them. I'm trying to make them want that joke for themselves in their own act.
Okay. Have you ever had one that didn't impress and actually was hurtful, one that you would take back?
I don't think so.
Never?
No, I don't think, not that I know of. No one's ever said that,
Yeah,
and I've never heard that down the line, you know.
When you're writing for a guy like Jeff Ross, for example, are you writing with his voice in mind? Like,
Yes.
would he say this? Is that how it goes?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, when you're writing on the, like, say when we did the roast of Rob Lowe, or Bruce Willis was the last one, you know, you just start writing jokes about one person, and then you go, oh, Jeff Ross would be great to say that. Oh, Sybil Shepherd would say that, or Martha Stewart would say that. So
Okay.
yeah, you start dealing them out.
Now, you cannot answer Trump to the next question because that's the obvious answer. Trump's becoming the obvious answer to a lot of things. Is there one person in this world right now that you would love to roast that you haven't? I know you're involved in Beiber and all that kind of stuff. Is there someone right now you would like to roast?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think The Rock, Dwayne Johnson would be like kind of the epitome of like people that, you know, pop culturally you think of like, you have to have somebody super big, you have to have somebody that's done big things.
Sure.
I mean, Charlie Sheen was so great, but he was also kind of easy because he had such a tortured past. And I think somebody like The Rock, who's like clean cut, all American, great, like he'd be fun to make fun of, and I think it would be a little bit more highbrow than anything.
Okay,
which I appreciate.
I like it. Now you've done, I think, about 12 tours overseas of comedy for the troops. A couple places in Germany, Singapore, Afghanistan, Guam, Okinawa. So how did you first get involved in going overseas and doing comedy for the troops?
So you know, I had a lot of military in my high school. Because like we had recruiters in my high school when I was growing up, so you know, people, and they would say to these young poor kids in my town, like, do you want to be a factory floor manager or a hero? And so I always felt like, even though they say we didn't have a draft in America, I felt like we did have a draft when it came to poverty. And I had so many friends that went overseas. My uncle's a 2-star general, so it was like just important for me to see for myself what was going on. And so I found a guy that was this guy Rich Davis, who does tours called Comics on Duty, and I knew that he was going to Iraq, and I just wouldn't leave him alone. I kept emailing him, I kept mailing him tapes, like VHS tapes of myself, like awesome. I just wouldn't leave him alone. And he's like, you know, we haven't had a woman go over in a while. The last time we had a woman go over, it didn't go well, and she was like not happy. And I was like, I'm not her, like I'll be fine, like let me. And he had somebody drop out, and I ended up going to go to Iraq in 2005 in August, and we had just captured Saddam right before I went.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he was alive while I was there.
I've heard about other comics going overseas kind of in those type of areas. Any like dangerous stories, any time where you didn't feel safe, or were you in kind of US bases that you felt?
Oh no, it was very, yeah, I mean back then we were still doing, what are they called? Convoys.
Oh.
So now they don't let you do a convoy. And a convoy is, you know, just like a line of vehicles, and then you have usually an MRAP like circling the convoy.
Wow.
And people in Iraq, like, they would get so mad that the convoy was taking so long, they'd be stuck behind it, so they'd go to the other side of the freeway with oncoming traffic and pass us to try to pass us.
Crazy.
so crazy. So that was more scary for them. But then, like, I think when it came to Iraq and Afghanistan, it's more ignorance is bliss. Like, we were with this, we were in a couple Blackhawks flying around BIOP in Iraq. And we were
so badass.
yeah, it was pretty badass because they fly in pairs too. So you were always with a group. And so we were in 2 Blackhawks, and we were with this major. His name was Major Hater.
Major Hater.
Yeah, but everybody called him Major Hated. And because he was, you know, just like kind of a pencil pusher office guy, but he's really smart. So he was kind of like the leader of our group. And I remember we were flying over Baghdad, and the flares went off, which meant somebody has radar lock on the Blackhawk. So they send off a flare so that the rocket chases the flare and doesn't hit us. And the flares go off, and he's like, holy shit, what was that? You know, and we are like, you're in charge. Like, why do you not know? Like, we knew what was going on. We were just like, all right, well, I'm sure it'll be okay.
Crazy stories. You've had an amazing career. You're from Calhoun, Georgia. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Calhoun, Georgia, overseas with the troops, headlining comedy clubs across the country, on television, et cetera, et cetera. Did you ever think when you were a younger girl that this would be you?
Oh, no. I didn't know what comedy was, and I didn't know anything about it. I never watched it growing up. And I grew up, and I was in plays, and I was an actress, and, you know, and in Calhoun, you know, people would be like, Sarah, you're such a great actress. You'd make a great dental hygienist. Like, nobody says anything like,
sure,
you could be a comedian.
Right.
And
it's not even in the realm of
It's not even in the realm of, like, just even being an actor wasn't even in that realm. So when I moved to LA to be an actor, everybody started telling me how funny I was, and I was like, I'd never heard I was funny.
Right.
Even though people would always laugh at me, but in the South they don't understand sarcasm as much as I would like.
Exactly.
And so people would be laughing, but they'd be like, that's not funny, that's not funny. So I just heard that's not funny.
So you moved to LA, but what's like one thing that really contributed to your success? I mean, there's a million guys and gals that go to LA and they're chasing the Hollywood dream. Was it the funny that kind of separated you?
For sure, it was my work ethic. I was, I wrote every day, and I had a full-time job waiting tables at the Four Seasons for a long time, and my shift would start at 7 a.m. I would get there at 6:30 so that I could write for half an hour. I would read the back of the USA Today where they had like a list state by state, and I would try to write as many jokes as I could. And then I'd get off work at 3:34, shower at work, and go to open mics every day.
Dude, that fires me up.
Yeah.
It's so important to hear that it doesn't just happen overnight.
Nope.
You were a girl with a dream that came out to LA, but you actually had to do the work.
Had to do the work, and I think about 10 years in, I got to quit my job waiting tables. And they always say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success in Los Angeles. And when I got to quit my waiting table job, which was just like 8 years ago, by the way.
It's crazy.
Like, yeah, it's, you go, oh, this town actually does what it says it does. That and like writing for Jeff Ross. Like, I met him, he was doing a show that I ran in comedy, and I saw him at a birthday party a little while after that, and I was like, what's the next roast you're doing? And he told me, and I said, what's your email? And he gave it to me, and I sent him jokes every day, all day, until he just couldn't ignore me. For weeks.
Persistence.
Yeah.
Persistence is key. We're going to wrap up here with the $1 million question here in Arizona, and we're going to shift for a moment to sports.
Great.
Because I know you're an avid sports fan, and you're one of the co-hosts of Props. So you know our current quarterback is Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
And we have, I say we, I'm from New York, but the Cardinals have the number 1 pick in the draft. Should they draft Murray, or should we stick with Rosen? Arizona wants to know, ready, go.
They should probably draft Murray just for the fun, but they should play Rosen.
They should play Rosen.
Yeah.
Draft Murray, but play Rosen.
Draft Murray, keep him as a backup, play Rosen.
There it is. Sarah has it all. Sarah, you're doing a lot of goodness in the world. Our sponsor is Goodness Unlimited, and we have a little gift for you.
Oh, wow.
Little shirt for you. That's for
How
you to
cute.
take back
That
to-
is little. I
back
hope
to
that'll...
Hollywood. Oh, that'll fit. It's very nice.
Yes.
Goodness Unlimited, thank you guys so much. Sarah,
Thank
SarahTiana.com. Sarah with an HTIANA.com for her dates. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. This is so
Your
cute.
girlfriend has amazing teeth, by the way. I don't mean to, I hope I'm not speaking
He's
out
an
loud.
actual sportscaster, my boyfriend. Yeah.
Huh?
I paid.
I paid for them.
No,
I hope
you-
the cameras are still rolling.
I know,
I paid for those.
No, you didn't. You probably pay for them now because I steal your
What do you
toothpaste.
think about roses?